Have you ever been told you don't look sick? Or maybe you've said it without thinking, without realizing how damaging it can be. It seems harmless, maybe even pass as a compliment. But for millions of people who have to fight every day just to function, those words cut deep and can feel invalidating, because some of the hardest battles are the one no one can see. Hello, my name is Frances, and on this channel we talk about all things well-being, mental health and recovery from a UK nursing perspective. Today we're going to explore why invisible illnesses are so misunderstood and why society still struggles to believe what it cannot see. What are invisible illnesses? Invisible illnesses, also called hidden disabilities, are real medical conditions. They don't show on the outside. In other words, they're not as obvious just by looking at someone. They include chronic pain disorders like fibromyalgia or endometriosis, mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, or PTSD, neurological and autoimmune diseases like lupus and multiple sclerosis, fatigue-related disorders like myalgic encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue syndrome, and long COVID. These are serious conditions that affect how people think, move, work, and interact. But from the outside, you might never know. You can't always see the struggle on someone's face. But that doesn't mean it's not real. So why do invisible illnesses get dismissed, you might wonder? There are several reasons that have been identified, but the common ones are visibility bias. As humans, we are conditioned to believe what we can see. Our world relies heavily on visual cues, clutches, casts, or mobility aids signal disability. But when someone looks fine on the outside, we assume all must be okay. Society struggles to accept that they might still be unwell. The myth of normalcy is also an issue. Many people with invisible illness learn to hide their symptoms to survive. They don't want to be seen as lazy, so they push through pain, fatigue, or mental health difficulties to appear normal. They smile, show up at work, but that doesn't mean they are not suffering. 3. Stigma and stereotypes. Here in the UK, there's still a stigma around mental health, chronic fatigue, and pain conditions. The NHS is making progress, but outdated beliefs like it's just stress still lingers. In the UK, we're lucky to have the NHS, but let's be honest, it's overstretched and under a lot of pressure. Diagnosis for invisible illnesses can take years, leaving people to suffer in silence. Did you know that the average time to diagnose endometriosis in the UK is over 8 years? Mental health referrals can take over a year, with waiting lists for services as long as 18 months in some areas. Many long COVID patients still can't access consistent care. They're still struggling for recognition and support. And sadly, because of this, patients are often told they're exaggerating or not sick enough. Or even worse, are you sure it's not all in your head? And that's devastating. I've spoken with people who've lost jobs, friendships, even their sense of identity, all because their illness was invisible. You hear things like, I parked in a disabled bay And people glared at me because I don't look disabled, or I use a blue badge and get judged every time. My employer told me I looked fine on Zoom, so why couldn't I return to the office full-time? My GP told me to just get more sleep. It turned out they had a serious thyroid condition. These stories are not rare. They are everyday stories. A helpful way to understand why people with invisible illnesses can't just push through because of energy limits is to think of your energy like your phone battery. Most people wake up fully charged and can go all day, but someone with a chronic illness might start their day at 40% and it drains faster. Having a shower takes 10%, commuting another 30%, work stress, and you're already on red. By midday, they're running on empty, not because they're lazy, but because their battery just can't hold a full charge. Mental health is often part of the invisible illness experience, either as a cause or a result. The stress of being disbelieved, dismissed, or misdiagnosed can lead to depression, anxiety, and even trauma. And yet, people say, just think positive or try harder. Remember, mental illness is an illness. It affects your brain, your body, and how you live. Just because you can't see it doesn't make it less real. So how can we help? What can we do? Because we all have a role to play in improving awareness, advocacy, and empathy. Here's how. Believe people. You don't need to see a diagnosis to offer empathy. Compassion costs nothing. When someone tells you they're unwell, don't question it just because they look fine. Believe them. Educate yourself. Learn more. Follow accounts, read blogs, listen to podcasts about chronic illness and disability, especially from real people with lived experience. Personally, I was inspired by the TEDx talk of Marisa Zeppieri, founder of Lupus Cheek, who raised awareness on the complexities of invisible illness. We have to challenge assumptions. Don't assume someone is lazy, rude, or dramatic just because they cancelled or seem distracted. Fatigue, brain fog, or pain might be the real reason. Not everyone who looks well is well. Support accessibility, whether it's flexible work, accessible public spaces, or better healthcare funding. Let's advocate for policies that recognize invisible conditions. Yes, raising awareness is fantastic, but taking action matters more. Invisible illness doesn't mean imaginary illness. And looking fine doesn't mean feeling fine. So next time you're tempted to say, "You don't look sick," pause. Ask instead, "How can I support you?" Whenever you see someone using a disabled toilet, or parking in a blue badge spot, or calling in sick again, pause before you judge. Not all disabilities are visible, and not everyone who looks fine feels fine. If you've ever lived with an invisible illness or know someone who has, share your story in the comment section. Let's keep the conversation going. If you learned something new today, please consider subscribing for more content on mental health, chronic illness, and recovery. And remember to share this video with someone who needs to feel seen and understood. Thank you for watching, and take care of yourself and others.